On your Tuesday episode of Locked On Raptors, it's the three most exciting words in the Locked On Raptors universe. It's what's more likely.
You are Locked On Raptors, your daily Toronto Raptors podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, what's going on? And welcome to another episode of Locked On Raptors, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. It is Tuesday, November the 4th, and I am your host, Sean Woodley. I've been covering the Toronto Raptors now for 12 seasons on various platforms. You can find all my work over on Blue Sky. You can find the show on Instagram. You can join us in the Locked On Raptors Discord server, link in the description of the podcast. You can come and document me trying as hard as I possibly can in the Locked On Raptors Fantasy League to trade the accidentally auto-drafted Miles Bridges from my team for literally nothing. I might just drop him. I want to get rid of this guy. No one will trade for him. It's very annoying. Come follow that, among other sagas, in the Locked On Raptors Fantasy League chat in the Discord. We'd love to see you there to be part of our listener community. Today's show is brought to you by friends over at Game Time. Down the Game Time app. Create an account. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. And we're off and running here on a Tuesday edition of Locked On Raptors, where we're playing our favorite stupid little game, What's More Likely? I throw out two unlikely hypotheticals. We discuss which of the two unlikely hypotheticals is the most likely to take place and come to fruition at some point in the future, close or far. And here to play a round of What's More Likely, we're going to talk about Scottie Barnes and Immanuel Quickley's three-point shooting and RJ Barrett's free throw shooting and at the rim shooting and the team shooting overall. Lots of shooting on today's podcast. The Raptors are shooting the hell out of the ball, as it turns out, so we've turned it into a What's More Likely. It's Vivek Jacob, Big V, here to play. Big V, how the hell are you, my friend? We talked for like 15 minutes before coming on the show about the Blue Jays. We don't have to do much more of that, but how you doing in your copium as you try to get over the worst loss in the history of Toronto sports?
I am coping. I'm coping hard. Yeah, it's going to sting. It's going to sting for a while. I told you, I think it's probably going to sting until they win one. But thankfully, we have a new distraction for us, and that is the Toronto Raptors. And things are starting to get back on the upswing. But, you know, depleted teams, I know, but we'll take it. And hey, the Raptors have been a little depleted themselves.
Exactly. Yeah, you can only beat who's in front of you, and the fact that they have beaten these teams is a thing that the last couple years Raptors did not do. So, baby steps. Yeah, working on that copium myself. I've already convinced myself that this is just a multi-year team of destiny where they lose in the most heartbreaking possible fashion, and then they go and be the 2014 San Antonio Spurs and win triumphantly next year. We'll see. Would love to see it. But yeah, we're going to move on and talk about the Raptors because they're slightly less depressing than the Toronto Blue Jays here on November the 4th, 2025. What's more likely? Again, a game that's familiar to those who listen to the show a lot. If you're not familiar, well, I picked two unlikely hypotheticals. We discuss which of the two is the most likely to happen. It's good fun. Let's start here, Big V, on our shooting-themed What's More Likely episode. First up, what's more likely? Immanuel Quickley finishes the season at 40% or better from three, or Scottie Barnes finishes the year under 32%. Obviously, they're flipped so far in terms of what you'd expect from these guys from three-point range. Immanuel Quickley just under 28% from three so far this year. Scottie Barnes at like 47% on 4.5 attempts a game. What the hell is happening? The sky is falling in like a good way. What do you think here, Big V? Has Scottie Barnes already hit enough threes to sort of insulate him from falling down to the 32 or below range from deep? Is Immanuel Quickley going to figure it out? What is more likely here for you, Big V? Quickley over 40% or Scottie under 32% by season's end?
So I will say that both at this point feel unlikely.
That's the point of the game, baby.
And I think what I will go with, just because we've seen it happen in Scottie's career, and, you know, IQ, when I look at his sort of career path, you expect that to change pretty quickly. I think it's just slightly more likely that Scottie ends up under 32. I love the way Scottie's shooting it. I have seen seasons in the past where it has started out pretty hot and then dissipated. So, that's kind of, in a way, you're kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop. But in this scenario, I feel pretty good about the way things are going for Scottie. I do feel that things will get better for IQ. And so in this unlikely scenario, I will say that Scottie's is just a bit more likely.
We are starting off on the exact note that most good podcasts start off on. Disagreement, baby.
Okay.
I am going with Scottie Barnes. Sorry, Immanuel Quickley. What's more likely? Yeah, Scott. Whoa, what is more likely? No, I guess no. It's more likely that Quickley. I've confused myself with the way I've written this question.
Yes.
I don't think it's likely that either happened, like you said. I will say, okay, all right. I will say Quickley over 40% as well. I guess I'm not disagreeing at all. In my brain, I was disagreeing, but I'm not. I don't think Scottie is going to finish under 32%. I guess this is a vote of confidence in Scottie more than anything else. I think the way he started the season, the looks he's taking are typically very in rhythm, wide open, easy threes. You've eradicated the pull-ups. And I think, the last time we saw Scottie Barnes have a really good stretch of shooting from deep was the start of the 23-24 season, where him and Pascal Siakam were playing their best basketball off of one another before Pascal got traded and everything went to hell. And I think Brandon Ingram offers a similar element to the offense, right? Where he's kind of the guy through whom most of it flows. Scottie's able to benefit from that and the gravity that Ingram has with the ball in his hands. And the looks he's getting are just super clean. And I think as time goes on, we're going to start to see teams close out again. That was a thing during that 23-24 season as well, where, eventually defenses got wise and started running Scottie off the line. And that led to all kinds of great things for the offense and for Scottie himself. I think, look, I don't think he's going to shoot 47% all season long, but I don't think he's going to dip below 40 or 32. I think he'll probably end up somewhere like the 35, 36 range based on what we've seen so far. I don't think it's likely he falls underneath. Quickley, I don't think he's going to shoot better than 40% from three. Apologies if I confused you with my own confusion at the wording of my own question. I think, he's never finished over 40% in his career. He's a 37.3% career three-point shooter, capped out at about 39.5 in his best seasons. I think he will probably get back to having a better three-point percentage than Scottie Barnes. And I guess by default, that means I think it's more likely that he ends up in that 40+% range. I do think it's going to come around for him. He's not a 28% three-point shooter. I think he's going to take more than 5 threes a game. He's still sorting things out within this offense. I've talked about Quickley the last couple of days here on the show, V. Where are you at with Quickley's performance so far this year? How alarmed are you by what we've seen? Are you at all concerned? And what do you think they can do to unleash him for more three-point volume, which, has been your hobby horse since media day when you asked him about this?
Yeah, so I think when the season started, I thought he was taking pretty good shots. And I thought that those were the type of shots that he can rely on being available all season. I do think that he's been sort of searching the last couple of games and maybe has gotten out of that and is in his own head a little bit the last little while.
A lot of pump faking on wide open threes. It's weird.
Yeah. So I think that's the part where now that I wouldn't say it becomes a concern, but it's like, okay, now you got to address this thing that's in his head and just get him to play more in the flow of the game. And, I think being the type of person and player he is, he kind of recognizes that it's okay, BI's going great, Scottie's going great, RJ's doing his thing. I kind of have to take a back seat here. And so to take a back seat and still try to find yourself, I think is a bit of a challenge. But honestly, right now I'm with Darko. I'm not going to stress over 7 games. If this becomes a quarter of the season in and he's still, shooting under 30% from 3 and, kind of forcing the issue in transition, not, identifying his opportunities for threes in the half court, then I'll start to be concerned. But right now, I think he's just adjusting to what's in front of him, adjusting to those three guys having it going better than him.
Mhm.
And missing Yak. He's missing Yak a
Yeah.
little bit too.
He's missing the launch pad for his pull-up threes. Yes, that is what Jakob Poeltl is. He's the best screener on the team. He's the best pick and roll partner he has. And yeah, I think that's being very clearly missed at the moment. I think, yeah, like there's just like we've seen this a little bit, early on with Scottie of trying to figure out where to fit in. We saw it with Poeltl as well. And maybe it will just be a rotating musical chairs of guys kind of going through a funk where they don't quite know where they fit into this offense, as the fit is not the most ideal among the 5 projected starters. But I do think, you get Poeltl back eventually. It could be as early as tonight. He's questionable for the game tonight. We'll see. Just like getting everyone in the groove of sort of how this offense is supposed to play. I think he's going to figure it out. And look, it's not as though all of his threes need to come from one place, right? It's not like, oh, he's not doing anything on the ball, so the threes can't come. No, he can get them both on and off the ball. They need to do a better job about sort of using him to get in those spots, maybe design some more stuff for him, some flare screens, split action, stuff like that. Like, I think there is, there are ways they can optimize Quickley's 3-point shooting a little better than they have. And it's just a work in progress, right? Like they're all sort of sorting things out. It's great that Scottie, Ingram, and RJ look this good in concert with one another. It shouldn't be an insurmountable mountain to try to work quickly into the mix as well. Insurmountable mountain. That's a poor use of words. Just bad copy. But we'll come back on the other side here, Big V, and get into our next What's More Likely, which is all about RJ Barrett, who cannot miss at the rim or the free throw line. Which one of those is going to hold up? We'll get to that coming up in just one sec. Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at Game Time. Basketball season is rolling along, and nothing beats being in the arena for those opening games. But let's be real, getting tickets can be a total headache between waiting and queues, surprise fees, and prices that jump right before checkout. It's easy to get frustrated when all you want to do is cheer on your team. That's where Game Time comes in, the app that gives the fans the advantage. It is your ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NBA tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. I am a devout Game Time user. I've used it for all kinds of sporting events in all kinds of cities across this continent. I've gone to WNBA games in Seattle and Vegas using Game Time. I've seen the Blue Man Group in Vegas using Game Time. I've seen the game at the Pittsburgh Pirates Stadium and the Cleveland Guardians Stadium using Game Time. It is the go-to for me to buy tickets because you just see the price right up front. You get seat views, all that wonderful stuff. Their zone deals are a game changer. You pick the section, Game Time picks your seats, and you save big. And you can find NBA tickets for under $25. Go check out what's coming up on the Raptors schedule. See what you can find. Take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app. Create an account. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's code LOCKEDNBA for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Back at it here with Big V playing What's More Likely. Toronto Raptors shooting the cover off the ball edition, not Immanuel Quickley division. Let's get to What's More Likely number 2. RJ Barrett off to a damn good start this season. His efficiency is off the charts. And the big reason why is he cannot miss at the rim right now. Let me ask you here, Big V. RJ Barrett, this is actually one of your making, so I'm asking your own question back at you. Isn't that meta? But he's been really good at the rim and really good at the free throw line so far this year. Surely they can't hold to the degree that they've held so far through 7 games. Let me ask you, Big V, what is more likely? RJ Barrett shoots better than 65% at the rim over the course of the season. He's at 74% right now. Or he shoots better than 75% at the line. He's at 78% right now, which would be a career high. What happened? Did he go to the Jakob Poeltl School of Free Throw Improvement? I don't know. Big V, what's more likely? RJ keeps it up from the rim or from the line?
Might be a hot take, but I think RJ Barrett will finish the season shooting over 65% at the rim. I think that that's more likely just because of the way the offense is structured now. I think that he's, again, kind of gone back into that mode that we saw when he first came over from the trade, and he understands where his shots are coming from, and he's just getting hyper efficient looks all the time and making good decisions on that end of the floor. The free throw line, that's the one where, hey, it's at 78 right now, 75, like it's tight. We've seen him struggle to do that as a Raptor. We've seen him struggle to do that over the course of his career. And as you mentioned, his current mark would be a career high. So right now, I would have to lean with his finishing at the rim.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think 65% is a high bar for him personally to clear. It's not an absurd number to hit for anybody. He was at 72% after the trade in the back part of the 23-24 season. Other than that, he's never finished higher than 61% at the rim. So it is a bit of a leap for us to say he's going to go over 65%. But I do think I agree. The stuff he's doing is way more in line with what he did during the back part of the season after the trade process-wise. And so why can't he shoot pretty well from the rim? 74% is crazy high. He's also coupling that with 58% on short mid-range shots. He seems to have that really nice sort of drive, stop, turnaround, push shot thing going right now. Will that continue? Who's to say? He hasn't taken a single long mid-range shot this season, speaking to like the super streamlined and trimmed down shot selection that he has. It's been a really good process start to the season for RJ Barrett. They even sprinkled in like a couple of roll possessions for him in the last game, which was pretty interesting to see. Is that something they work on more? He's someone who can dunk, maybe finish a lob, sort of inverted pick and roll stuff with him as sort of the two guard. He might be guarded by smaller guys sometimes. Maybe that's something they can do to exploit advantages and get mismatches going. He just seems to be kind of filling in the gaps beautifully right now on offense. And so, yeah, when there's more shooting around you, which the Raptors, as we've talked about, are shooting like crazy right now, those driving lanes are going to be easier. It's going to be harder for teams to overhelp on that left hand, which was, I think, the big reason why his rim shooting fell back to 61% last season. Every time he drove, there was just like a dude helping in from the strong side corner and a guy at the rim and maybe a third guy poking in to really kind of make things difficult for RJ at the rim in a way that you can't do when the team is really shooting as well as it has so far this year. So, yeah, I think the circumstances are in line for RJ to continue this high rate of finishing at the rim, even if it's not quite 74% over the season. The free throw shooting, like, it's kind of an unknowable thing, right? His career high from the line is going back through here, like 74.5% back in 2021. It's just like, do we have any sort of concept of why guys have good years or not at the free throw line? It's kind of a mystery box to me. I don't get it.
Yeah, it is a bit of a mystery box. And I do think with RJ, is just weird. I don't think he has a particular hitch that suggests that, hey, this is something that he's always going to struggle with. I think when you look at his finishing around the basket, when you look at his kind of short mid-range game, he tends to take his best shots when he is kind of in that balanced mode. And so you'd think there's plenty of balance at the free throw line. So why is he struggling with this so much? There's more often than not, he is when he misses at the free throw line, he is too strong as opposed to shooting it softly. So maybe that's something to consider. But other than that, there's probably shot doctors who can better explain why it's too strong more often than the other way around. And I think if that's something that can be addressed, then he has addressed to an extent, then there's reason for optimism.
What have you made, to keep it on RJ here for a second, and we'll kind of divert from the shooting stuff for now, but what have you made about what he's done on the defensive end so far this year, V? I mean, he's still not any great shakes. No one on the team necessarily has been. They've been a pretty bad defense. They're bottom 10. He's averaging career high in steals per game through 7 games. There's something, like, he's creating some events. Like, the sort of balancing act I think the Raptors have been trying to play here with Barrett and I guess Quickley now in the backcourt with his defensive issues so far this year is like, can you get enough offense out of this bunch to, sort of cover for the defensive issues and sort of make it so that you can uphold yourself enough with Scottie Barnes just kind of cleaning up all the messes as he's done pretty aptly after maybe a bit of a slower start to the year, but 5 blocks in the game against Memphis. He was there all over the place in the Cleveland game. Scottie's just like a vacuum for messes that get through the perimeter. Has RJ done enough for you to sort of justify the sort of experiment here? The offense has been so good too that I think it kind of lowers what you need defensively from him. If he's going to have a 65% true shooting, you know what? Okay, get back cut every once in a while, buddy. It's fine. But what are your sort of overall impressions of the two-way play of RJ been so far?
Yeah, so I'd say defensively, RJ is still a work in progress when it comes to his overall defensive awareness. I think that's the part that's probably the most frustrating with him. I think also like for the level of leadership he shows in general, I think his lack of communication on the defensive end is also a bit frustrating at times. I think especially, if you watch him sometimes in semi-transition, it's like, in terms of not knowing which guy to pick up or directing guys a certain way. If he is going, to someone that he shouldn't, I think that's another thing that he needs to improve. So yeah, I think I'll still be a bit hard on him in terms of wanting more defensively, but I think this level of offense definitely allows you to be more patient. I think if he was as efficient as he was last year, then you'd be saying, okay, this can't really continue much longer. But when he's fitting into the offensive system so well and he's being as efficient as he is, it's like, okay, you know what, like, if we can just figure out some of this defensive stuff, then we've really got a nice fit here. And
100%.
Yeah, I think we got to give him his flowers offensively, because it's something that the Raptors need. And like, the way he scores his points is definitely something that kind of allows the offense to exhale at important times.
100%. Yeah, that rim pressure is a really big deal, and he is probably the best guy on the team at getting it. We're going to come back on the other side here, Big V, and talk about the team as a whole, which is shooting incredibly well across the board and also allowing other teams to shoot incredibly well across the board. It's a real immovable object, unstoppable force situation. We're going to talk about which is more likely to hold up as we continue our What's More Likely show coming up in just one sec. Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. The NBA is back. There's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of the season or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can combine your live bets in a same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Of course, I am not someone who gambles on sports all that often, but when I do, maybe I'm in person at a game. I want to liven up the live experience or something like that. Pick a player or something like that I feel good about a prop bet on. You could always go and peruse all of that. I also don't mind a futures bet once in a while. Hey, I think this team is going to win this many games, or this they're going to win the title or the conference or whatever, and I feel good about that. I'll throw a few bucks on that to see if I can score a little bit of money at the end of the season. That's always a fun thing. Of course, you've got the baseball offseason coming up. There'll be free agents you can bet on where they're going to end up. Maybe Kyle Tucker comes to your Toronto Blue Jays. Who's to say? Maybe Bo Bichette sticks around. I would sure love that, and I bet you all would as well. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets with your first $5 bet if it wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Back at it here, wrapping things up here with Big V of Raptors in 7, his lovely newsletter. Wrote some Blue Jays stuff over Yahoo Sports, which was great to see. Yeah, beautiful stuff, Big V. Good cope. Let's get to the final What's More Likely we have geared up here today. And it has to do with the Toronto Raptors just being damn good at putting the ball in the hole, Mike James style. What's more likely? The Toronto Raptors finish top 5 in effective field goal percentage, or finish bottom 5 in effective field goal percentage allowed. They currently stand at 7th in the league in effective field goal percentage. They are shooting incredibly well, and they are giving up the 6th highest opposing effective field goal percentage, Big V. So really, this is a question of, is the offense this good or is the defense this bad? What is more likely? Top 5 in scoring on the effective field goal percentage side, or bottom 5 in giving up buckets to the other team? What you got?
I have to believe that the defense will get better. I do think that they will be better than a bottom 5 effective field goal percentage allowed. I think just having Jakob Poeltl back alone will translate well. I think having both Jakob Poeltl and Colin Murray-Boyles healthy at the same time will lend towards a better defense. And so, yeah, I would not be surprised if the offensive effective field goal percentage tailed off some. But yeah, I definitely expect the defense to be better.
Yeah, I mean, they started the season. It's kind of come down the last couple of games, but they started the season getting absolutely torched from 3-point range by other teams. That's a variance thing. That's gonna, sort of oscillate. They're down to 11th after being the giving up the highest opposing 3-point percentage just a couple of games ago. Small sample theater, baby. This stuff changes with the wind every single day as games get played. I think I am gonna say it's more likely they finish bottom 5 though, because top 5 in effective field goal percentage is very hard to do. I don't think Scottie Barnes is going to shoot 47% from 3 all year. I don't think RJ Barrett is going to have a 65% true shooting. I don't think Brandon Ingram is going to have a 64% true shooting over the course of the year. They can still be effective, efficient players and not quite hit those peaks. Yes, there'll be some balance if Immanuel Quickley figures things out and Jakob Poeltl starts hitting his push shots when he's back in the lineup and all that stuff. But top 5 is very lofty. And I think for me, the concern right now on the defensive end is, the rim defense hasn't been great. They're 21st in rim percentage allowed. They're giving up a lot from the short mid-range and from mid-range as well. But the shot chart they're allowing is basically in line with where they currently stand in effective field goal percentage allowed. Per clean the glass, they have the 26th ranked effective field goal percentage allowed, and they are 25th in location effective field goal percentage, essentially what you'd expect the other team to shoot based on where their shots are coming. And so that to me is where I get a little concerned about what's going on. And again, this probably changes when Jakob Poeltl is back. This probably changes as 3-point variance kind of settles. But I am a little concerned. They're giving up the 4th most corner threes in the league. That's not a great place to be. And they're giving up the 4th most shots at the rim in the league. And that is a symptom of the way they play defense, right? They are really aggressive at the point of attack. They allow a lot of leak throughs from the perimeter, and that leads to a lot of shots at the rim and corner threes because of all the help. And so, unless they can change those numbers, I do think there's a chance that they kind of get shot to death this year based on where they're giving those shots up. But there's room for that to change when Poeltl comes back. Maybe there's a sort of adjustment in terms of how much aggression they have, though we haven't seen that just yet. I think they'll make their defense work in other ways, the way they force turnovers, that type of stuff. But I'm a little bit concerned about the shot profile they're allowing right now. And so I will go, it's more likely they finish bottom 5 in effective field goal percentage allowed, even though I think neither of these are terribly likely. The last couple of games have shown some growth, I think, defensively against teams without ball handlers. So there's that. Is there anything?
Go back to my theory from the last time.
Again, yeah. Is there anything from those two games, understanding the quality of competition, understanding the disadvantages the teams they played were at, that you feel like you can build upon? That you feel like, that's going to play against no matter what defense or offense they're up against.
Yeah, I mean, I think the one thing I'd say is maybe they came into this season saying, and obviously we had a lot of frustration seeing just how aggressive they were. And maybe they were just like, hey, let's start with this level of aggression and see what we can actually get away with. And then we can always dial it back.
Sure.
And so maybe now we are starting to see some dialing back. When I see more of these blocks from Scottie Barnes, you see the Brandon Ingram coming over from the weak side and getting that nasty block. I think stuff like that comes down to just providing enough room to time that stuff. And I think when you're in a super aggressive mode, you're just helter-skelter all the time. There's no real decision making that's happening. You're just constantly reacting. And so, I think Darko has said he wants his defense to dictate. He wants his defense to kind of be aggressive in a way that's forcing the opponent into certain things. But I think when you're overly aggressive, you are actually doing the opposite. And then you're just constantly in react mode, in panic mode, in fire extinguisher mode. And so I think the more they start to dial it back, the more they recognize that the offense is looking pretty decent. I think it will lend towards making more defensive plays and just looking more normal on that end of the floor, which may not be a bad thing with the personnel that they have.
Looking normal. There's nothing wrong about being a normal, just kind of mildly, I mean, like slightly aggressive here and there, but a little more conservative defense. Like you can get by with that, especially if your offense is doing what they're doing so far. I think for me, it did feel as though, and this is a thing that you just kind of assume will come over time, and it's probably easier to make these rotations when you're up against a team without a whole lot of ball handling. And so again, take it with a grain of salt. But I did think the rotations looked a lot sharper in the last game, right? Like way more in terms of like the guys rotating to the right spots, helping the helper, that type of stuff. Like being more on a string, that feels like something to me that is just reps and time spent together. And, that figures to only tighten as things go forward. We'll see when Pirtle comes back what that does. But yeah, I think that to me was the encouraging part, especially with that Memphis game, right? Like, again, not a terribly good offensive team without John Morant, but and all the other injuries they have, but they did look way more connected in terms of, okay, we're at a position here because we got overzealous. Okay, this guy's filling in this space, then that guy's going to fill in that guy's space. And it's just way more harmonious in terms of the way they were moving as a team on defense, which is, again, you got to build on that. You got to do it more against good teams, and it'll be a nice test tonight against Milwaukee. But yeah, I'm hopeful that part of the defense can come along. That's the chemistry stuff that's always going to take time. And as time goes on, maybe it just kind of gets honed in and tightened a little bit as we go forward. Big V, that's going to do it for What's More Likely. Thanks so much for hopping on. Always love to play stupid little games with you, my friend. Anything you want to promote for the good people out there?
Thanks for having me on. It's always a fun chat. Usual stuff. Raptors in 7. Obviously, I took a little bit of a hiatus with all the World Series coverage that I was doing. There were just not enough hours in the day. And now I will get back to that. So you can watch out for that. You can watch out for my content over at Basketball Insiders and Sportscasting. And you can follow it all on my socials at Vivek M. Jacob.
Hell yeah, man. I will say, like, wouldn't trade watching a month of playoffs baseball for the world, but like, I do feel like I've gotten my life back a little bit with, not every night between 8 and midnight just being consumed by watching nerve-wracking baseball. It's freeing a little bit. Again, back with the cope. Actually, the sports life balance is better now. It's better this way. Oh man. Yeah. Tomorrow on Cope Corner. We're gonna leave it there. Thank you so much for rocking with the show. As always, follow, subscribe, rate, review, tell a friend. We'll be back tomorrow to talk about Raptors Bucks. Nice second attempt to go take down Ryan Rollins' Milwaukee Bucks. That was a game the Raptors should have had a couple weeks ago, but they let it slip. Let's see if they can get back to 500. Wouldn't that be a lot of fun before they play a crucial NBA Cup game on Friday against the Trae Youngless Atlanta Hawks? The Raptors are in the driver's seat for the Cup, baby. The Cup, like, again, I'm going to turn my attention now to full and unabashed NBA Cup fandom and living and dying with every NBA Cup game, because my entire life is built around how I can funnel my emotions into sports. It's very healthy. We're going to leave it there. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you again Wednesday with another episode of Locked On Raptors. Bye-bye. Oh.